To stand out now, you have to be your own brand. And to me, I don't think there's any way around that unless all you are selling are products. And even then, I know a lot of product sellers that have benefited from being able to brand themselves or having the courage to brand themselves.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name is Rick Nusky. It's a pleasure to be in front of you today. We've got the videos rolling, the audio is all set up, and I have with me Lee Rowley. How are you, Lee?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, Rick. How about yourself?
Oh, look, I have 2 feet and a heartbeat. I can't complain, I usually like
That's
to say.
right. Yes, absolutely.
So how have you been?
And doing fantastic. We're dealing with the cold weather here in Ohio, as I'm sure you're probably dealing with some of that too. So,
well, yeah, where we are, it's actually blisteringly hot. So.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So whereabouts are you Whereabouts are you?
Oh, I'm in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
Right. Okay. No problems at all. So, what has been happening with your business? And we'll jump into, I guess, the details of that. I guess a good point to start, Lee, would be to get you to share a little bit about what you actually do with the My Future Business audience.
Absolutely. Well, I say that I'm not a copywriter. I'm a copy brander.
Right.
I still write copy, but what copy branding means to me is that it's more than about getting a sale. That everything you put out there, including your marketing copy, needs to reflect your brand's values, vision, and mission, and needs to strengthen your trust in your brand rather than pushing you toward a sale and then 5 seconds after you complete checkout, you're going, oh, why'd I do that? I got had,
Yeah.
And so to me, it's important to treat customers and clients and prospects with respect, because that makes a difference between a sale and a lifelong fan.
Yeah.
So,
Is there a particular format that needs to be used when you do copywriting, or is it just something anybody can do?
there are definitely essentials that you need to learn before you go tackling it on your own. I like to take a really organic approach, but I've got to be honest with you. That's because I spent the first 6 years of my copywriting career using the templates and modeling the Dan Kennedys and the Clayton Makepeace and the Gary Halberts and so forth. So just like everybody else, that's what I learned. So you definitely have to have those fundamentals, and those fundamentals are definitely still very relevant and very necessary to build your sales and make the kind of money you want to make. But I think that we have gone past the days, I shouldn't say I know we've gone past the days where somebody would actually sit down and read a 8-page sales letter. You know, you see what I'm saying? Back in 1976, there wasn't that much going on media-wise. I think we had 3 channels, sometimes 4, I don't know, on TV. So if you get an 8-page letter that was engrossing enough, you would actually sit down at the dinner table and read it.
Yeah.
But now we've got too much coming at us too fast. And you have too...
I just had a thought, Lee. I look at some of the original Dan Kennedy stuff, the magnetic marketing, I think it was called, and his lumpy mail and making copy look like it was a newsletter article for ads. Does any of that still ring true, even though we've, I guess, moved towards a more video-based environment for marketing nowadays?
Well, print copy and digital and text-based copy is still very powerful. I always recommend that my clients have both because different people learn and absorb information in different ways.
Yeah.
So that keeps you from unintentionally excluding an audience that you could be bringing in and making part of your, they'd use the word tribe, but I guess that's what's going on now. We'll say tribe.
Go for the tribe approach here. That's something that was coined some time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite a bit. But I found that it's been true in my business, and it's been true for my clients that developing relationships with a small number of people who will support you is in the long term much more beneficial, at least to me and the clients I serve, than just trying to please everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of your client base. It's an amazing list. I'd like to run through it if I could. You've got Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels. You've got
Yeah.
the No BS Insider Circle, which is obviously Dan Kennedy and his team,
Yep.
Amanda Goldman Petrie, Henry Kalminski Jr., Lisa Turner, and Dr. Charles Livington. How is it that you get involved with such incredible names? How did that all come about for you?
Partially luck, partially committing to doing my very best work for the clients that I had. A long time ago, so 4 years ago, I would say, when I started changing my approach to copy, and I become a business that existed solely on referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I'm expanding that a little bit now because, to be honest with you, I'm charging a heck of a lot more money than I did back then.
Yeah.
But it just there for for 4 years really. I was fortunate enough to just be able to work solely off of referrals, and it takes 3 or 4 people to inside of Russell Brunson's inner circle thing to say, hey, have you heard of this Lee guy? He's pretty reasonably priced and he does great copy. And so Russell and I got to know each other several years ago. He's a great guy, one of the
Yeah.
most down-to-earth guys I have ever had the pleasure of speaking to.
Absolutely.
He started sending people my way, and they started sending people my way, and it just kind of happened from there.
Yeah, it's one of those things, the 6 degrees of separation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So from the moment somebody decides that they're going to, be a marketer of some description, be it offline or online, this is all about communicating a message and ultimately with the view to, I guess, influencing, obviously, to make a decision to take an action. Is that
Mhm.
is that something that you should spend time learning these fundamentals, or for somebody, typically the people that are listening to this show are beginner entrepreneurs and existing
Mhm.
small to medium-sized business owners. Should they just go out and put pen to paper and start writing things down if they want to learn copy?
Oh no, I would definitely get solid on the fundamentals. In fact, I have a program that I'm relaunching this summer called Sales Copy Academy, and it's designed exactly for that.
Right.
As because most people that put out this kind of training are trying to generate copywriters. They're like, hey, come, you can work for yourself, be a copywriter, da, 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 which is great. But what I'm actually trying to do is teach the clients themselves how to write for themselves.
Right.
And once they see what that looks like, then they realize that, yeah, it's worth the effort because it's in my voice. It's my passion that's showing through.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a blend of the two. It's
You
a
talk
good short
about
answer.
you talk about brandpreneurs and copywriting, and you have a unique take on, I guess, melding the two together. Could you mind sharing a little bit about, your take on this?
Absolutely. To stand out now, you have to be your own brand. And to me, I don't think there's any way around that unless all you are selling are products. And even then, I know a lot of product sellers that have benefited from being able to brand themselves or having the courage to brand themselves.
Hmm.
There's just too many options out there. And that's why I despise sales copy templates. I know some people sell them, and for a very beginner, it's like, okay, if you're in a rush and that's all you have time for, fine, do that. But as soon as you can, dive in deeper because you don't want to look like everybody else. Because if you look like everybody else, and I have fallen into this trap early in my copywriting career,
Hmm.
when you don't differentiate, when you don't brand, when you don't stand out, then you're competing on price. Always, always, always. You get people who don't see the value in hiring you as opposed to the person next to you because they just don't see the difference. So it comes down to whoever's willing to charge the least.
So this is about providing that unique experience, isn't it?
It is.
Now,
It is very much so.
with regard to the copywriting process and it being something that you can use online and offline, is it very hard to get to that point where you're right at that point of the sale, I guess you'd say, depending on what you're trying to do with the copy, to actually get them over that edge? Or is it something that you need to test different types of copy? How does somebody know when they've got good copy, I guess, is the question.
Oh, until you put it in front of your audience, you don't know.
Right. So does
Uh,
that mean that you would drive traffic to it, or just maybe share it with people that you know and trust? What's the process behind that side of it?
all above, just rigorous testing with documentation. It's easy to get married to your copy. I
Hmm.
mean, especially if you're creating it yourself, you just go, "Wow, this is brilliant. This is fantastic," and sometimes it doesn't work, and you're a little heartbroken and about it. I've been there when something that I've been all excited about has just flopped. But I think Gerald Coe said that all good content is a process of experimentation. And I maintain that despite needing to know the fundamentals, beyond that, filling in that skeleton,
Hmm.
sales copy is a process of experimentation. It just there's no if somebody says they can absolutely nail it on the first try, then I good luck, but
You know,
it's
'cause
probably not going to happen.
I have about, I don't know, about a dozen Dan Kennedy books about essentially this topic. And,
Okay.
what I find is that after reading each and every one of them, I was still left wondering, you know, uh, how do I answer this very question? And like you say, I think you need to be putting it in front of people. And I like to know what is, given what we've just talked about, I think I know the answer, but long form versus short form version copy. Is it horses for courses again in terms of the number of words you use?
I've gravitated shorter and shorter and seen my clients' results get better and better.
Yeah.
That's just I can't. I'm not going to make a definitive answer or say that long copy can't work. Look, Russell, several months ago, we got into a project where the thing ended up being 15,000 ish words,
Yep.
and I mean, it was a grind. I will tell you. As much as I like the guy, that sales page, writing a 15,000 word sales page was a grind, but it worked for him.
Yeah.
But I tell people that just because it works for Russell doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got an army of people behind him
Yeah.
making this all
Absolutely.
happen.
And
So,
he's very much oriented towards the video environment, isn't he? So he's
yeah.
taking
Mm,
your good work, and he's
mm,
somehow working his magic and bringing his personality, which is another thing I love to talk about.
mm,
He's bringing his own voice to his messages. Now,
right.
I don't often see. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but does he use a combination, or is he predominantly video based nowadays?
What I see him doing is both, and actually, what we did was kind of the reverse, where he had the video footage, and then we back ended a sales letter out of it.
Right, fantastic.
So,
So,
so
are you offering one-on-one? Do you do one-to-many training in terms of coaching? How is it that you deliver your services?
well, right now I have two options. Again, I have a training academy that I'm reopening in the summer because that was the first time I'd launched a product
Yeah.
where it wasn't one to one, and then I got to the end of it and went, "Ooh, I did everything pretty much wrong." Okay, let's try. It happens, you know. So, but right now I've got two things. Is the done for you copy, which is my copy branding service, which is we get together half hour on Skype. We have a conversation about what you want to accomplish, and then usually I'll have a short questionnaire. But I really like the one-to-one environment where I can talk to you and hear the passion. I can see the passion, so I can pull those details out and use them in the copy.
Yeah.
Just talking to somebody face to face like it is so valuable, and it's something that I didn't do early in my career, and I wish that I had. So then from there, I'll go write the copy. We'll do the first draft, and then we'll get back together and go over anything that doesn't feel right to you, and make sure that it's absolutely perfect. The other thing is the coaching, where you're doing most of the writing in your own voice, because I can do almost you, but I probably can't get it. I probably can't nail it, because I don't think anybody could nail your specific voice and your specific passion. So I'll do 2 or 3 hour-long coaching sessions where they bring it back and then we go through it. And basically I give them the structure and walk them through the process and then they write it.
So with your students, are you finding that they pick it up fairly? I mean, it's you talking about your services. I suggest I know the answer, but is it months? Is it years? How long does it take? So let's say I came in off the street and I know nothing about copywriting. How long will
Mhm.
it take for me to learn those fundamentals so that I can start using them in my own business? Do you think?
I would say that if your aim is to be a master copywriter and copyright for multiple clients, then we're talking years.
Yeah.
Again, I'd say the first 4 years, 4 to 6 years of my copywriting career were a learning experience. Not that I write some good stuff, but just the progression and getting the courage to try things outside of the fundamentals. Because as you're learning them, you need to be testing them.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that you just take anybody's word, even mine, for gospel. Test everything
Yeah. Yeah.
and see if it works for you and massage it as you need to, because you're going to be developing your own unique voice. But I find that for coaches and clients, they kind of already know their own voice, and it's just getting them out of their own way to be able to articulate that voice within the framework of a sales page or a landing page or an email sequence.
Yeah, you're a wonderful individual. I love some of the insights that you're sharing with us.
Thank you.
I'd love to spin back actually onto your personal life and move away from direct
Okay,
copywriting and talk a little bit about
sure.
your journey up until till now. I've looked at your bio and there's some pretty powerful stuff in there. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your I guess your personal story, what leads you, what gives you that motivation to do what you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. So my wife and I had a daughter named Aria.
Mm-hmm.
Who we very much adored. She battled the effects of Alagille syndrome
Mm-hmm.
most of her entire life, which is a rare genetic disorder that affects most of the organs and obviously it could be fatal. And for her, it was. We lost her a couple weeks after her 10th birthday. And on the way home from the hospital with
Mm-hmm.
her toys, but without her, I stopped at the liquor store and I bought 7 liters of whiskey and 3 cases of Coke. And then my plan was to go home and drink myself to death. And then for 6 months, that's what I tried to do. But finally, I remembered like Aria and just how she wanted to bring out the best in everybody, and how she just couldn't stand for anybody to be sad. She always would come up and put her arm around you, and she was always encouraging people to do better and to be better, and to be uniquely them. She didn't judge, on race or color, or, any of the, anything. It was just you were who you were, and she loved you for it.
Yeah.
And after about 6 months of this, I realized that and said, I said to myself, most people get to carry on their parents' legacy. How can I best carry on my child's legacy?
Yeah.
Given that this is what I ended up with, right? And given that my skill sets are pretty much limited to wordsmithing and maybe chili making, I don't know. I was like, okay, it's going to have to be through the written words. So that's where I transitioned from this templated, pushy, copy that just makes you feel disgusting and makes your customers
Yep.
feel disgusting. I said, how about if I use what I know, copywriting,
Yeah.
to help people shine in their businesses? And that's what I've been doing for the last several years.
Yeah, it's I guess it's the fire in your belly that pushes you forward, isn't it?
It is. You can either let it break you or you can choose to do something with it.
Yeah,
And I chose both.
you
But,
chose both,
you know,
yeah. Oh, look, I can only imagine, what sort of a journey that was, and
mhm,
but thank you very much for sharing that with me. I have to say
absolutely.
though, I'm looking at that bow tie and I think to myself, there's an eclectic style if I've seen one. Have you always been wearing bow ties?
No, this came about 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted to stick out. I realized the branding thing and kind of trying to. There's a million copywriters out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
mean we all know you can't throw a rock without hitting a freaking copywriter. But so I realized that I was going to need branding, and I knew that I was going to need to develop my own signature style. I tried some pretty poor choices. The pork pie hats, that was a bad choice. It was. I went with that for a while, and finally somebody took me aside and said, "No,
No,
no,
stop
just
that.
stop doing." Yeah. Uh, and on a whim, I tried the bow tie, and it kind of stuck. So
Yeah, it's a good look. I love it.
yeah, thank you, thank
So
you.
when people want to start working with you, what sort of a process do you take them through?
Well, we start by you would go to the leerowley.com, which is my main hub, and you can book a call. Again, I like to say I love the one-on-one thing. I'm all about personal connections. So I'll sit down with we'll jump on Skype or Zoom for 30 minutes. We'll talk about your project, what
Yep.
it is you want to accomplish, and if it's a good fit, then we just go ahead and start the process from there of gathering the information. I spend time on my own gathering a lot of information. I do what I call avatar immersion,
Hmm.
which involves going into Facebook groups, going in, looking at Amazon reviews, going at YouTube comments, seeing what people are in your market are really saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I pull great copy out of those comments. And
Yes.
because I want, I look, I know it sounds kind of cheesy to say, but I believe that the magic happens at the intersection of your story and your ideal client's story. Okay. If you can if you can hit that intersection in your copy, then there's really no selling to it.
Yeah, that's some wonderful insights there, Lee. I do
Thank you.
appreciate the time that you're spending with the My Future Business audience. They're going to take a lot of value away from this call. And
Excellent.
for everyone who is on the call with us today, look around the page. It doesn't matter where you are listening to or watching this call, you will find links back to leerowley.com. Lee, it's been a wonderful treat spending some time with you on the My Future Business show today.
Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.